Let me go to the next step, because again, this is a piece. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a different spin, but I'd love to see you buy into this and incorporate this in your meeting. So step 4 is creating urgency throughout the process. One of the biggest things I talk to you guys about on our one-on-one calls is, how do you create urgency? You're going out and you're making recommendations, you're giving them ideas, and they're saying things like, this is great, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And a week turns into a month, and a month turns into 3 months, and you got hurdles you got to hit now. So you don't have that luxury of dragging some of this stuff on. So you got to create some urgency. So how do you do that? Well, if there's a specific time frame, that helps. If you're talking about a market linked investment, and in order to get this rate, we need to do this by the 28th. That's a good thing to create urgency. Sometimes we even say things like, Gene, the sooner you get started, the sooner we can start generating income, and that, of course, it can add up quick. Maybe that's how you create urgency. Having said that, let me give you my take on this. I think one of the things that we need to do a better job in this industry of, when it comes to creating urgency, I think we need to do a better job of creating urgency, not when we're presenting the idea. Sometimes that's too late. I think we need to do a better job of creating urgency back at the discovery part of the meeting. Back when I learned about you and your pressing needs and some of the goals that you had about the money, that's where that urgency conversation starts. You see, I think it's fair, not only fair, I think it's important back at discovery for me to say something like this. I've asked all the questions, I've summarized what we've talked about, and then I say something like this. I said, Gene, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the office. I'm going to do some research, talk to some folks, and why don't you and I get together next week? I'll give you some thoughts and some ideas on how to accomplish these goals. Last question, Gene. Let's say when you and I get together next week, assuming I share with you something that hits the criteria that you're looking for. It's safe, it's conservative, you don't want to put your money at risk, but it does help you generate more income than you're getting right now, and you feel good about it. Gene, give me a sense of your time frame. What kind of time frame are you looking at? And the only reason I ask that, Gene, is any recommendation I might make for you, say next week, might be a different recommendation that I might make, say, first of next quarter. So just give me some sort of a sense of what kind of time frame. If you saw something you like, I mean, is this the kind of thing you're looking at doing right away, or are you looking more down the road? And if Gene comes back and says to me, well, Jack, if I saw something I like, I can move it tomorrow, I'd want to know that. And so when I come back and I make my presentation and I'm checking in, I say, what do you think? How does it sound? And Gene says, well, I like it. It's certainly better than I've got right now. Well, I can say, well, Gene, based on what we talked about last week, you mentioned that if you saw something you liked, we could go ahead and move forward. Would there be any reason we couldn't go ahead and get started on this today? All we need to do to get started is whatever. But see, I've earned the right to do that because you told me back at Discovery that you could do something right away. So it's a piece that a lot of us are missing. Now, by the way, I think you have to be very careful when you ask that question, because to me, discovery is about discovery. It's not about starting the closing process. I don't think it's if I can, will you? That's not a discovery. I think it's a very soft. Give me a sense of your timing. What kind of time frame are you looking at? Because obviously any recommendation I might make next week would certainly be different than, say, 3 or 4 months from now. So what kind of time frame are you looking at? And again, I think that's an important question to be asking, guys, in some sort of sense like that.